spider.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Speaking of the nautical lines and that little spider, that is in. Was like 20, 30 feet square. The drawing and made out there on the Nazca Plain. Are y'all familiar with that spider with the real long legs? You know about that one?
No, but go ahead and tell us. Tell the listeners.
Yeah. Well, it's a big geoglyph, and people who know anything about biology said, yeah, we know that spider, but you really can't see it without a microscope. How did they know to draw this thing accurately? He has one long leg, which apparently is his mating equipment or something, but it's very accurately drawn. It's a little bit graphic, graphically like a graphic artist would do it, but and apparently it's only over in the jungles. So the idea, here's another, anthropologists have really kind of done us a disservice. They've tried to make history as being some primitive ape that finally got to make a flint and finally got to be us and made a microscope, right?
Yeah.
And one of those graves, I think, over there in Peru, they found some microscope glasses. They had ground them so they could magnify things. And speaking of that, those new 144, 148 new glyphs they found over there in that other part of the Nazca lines.
Yeah, 143 of them. They're not very big, apparently, for some reason. They don't look like the other things. They look like a kind of a different style. But that, like you say, they're hard to tell what they look like from the ground. In fact, without that AI, I guess they wouldn't have noticed it. But there is a sculpture. I think it's a piece of pottery that looks like a triangular air balloon. So we're wondering, well, did the Peruvians know about hot air and that they make a really fine cotton? They have really good cotton over there. They make a cotton upside down tent and with a basket on it. And is that how they went up there and looked at the Nazca lines? I mean, we invented the hot air balloon. If we could invent it, they could have invented it because the same process is available then as it is now. And have you guys seen the Nazca lines? Have y'all flown over them?
No.
I haven't, no.
I've got to go over a couple times. It is truly amazing. It's just out in the middle of nowhere. And you think they had to bring food and water in here, and somebody had to go out quite a ways and stand there. Then you start lining these rocks up. Once you get two rocks lined up, the third person goes down. No matter how far they go, if they get in line with the first two rocks, you can have a straight line that'll go forever. But those are parabolic lines, and they finally meet. One of them is like 5-10 miles long or something, and the lines finally meet in a point. These aren't little stupid people out doing that stuff. And you talk about they move those rocks away from the surface. That's what it is. The whole place is like this light gray dirt with these pebbles that are about the size of an M&M or a marble. And they just gone in there and either moved them to the side or picked them up and took them away and left the white dirt be the design. Old von Daniken, he was one of the first ones to say these were landing landing strips for spaceships. Well, I've never heard of any spaceship account where they had to slide in. They always come down. They hover or they sit down on the ground. You don't need a landing strip. The other thing I noticed, we went out there and walked. You can't really walk out on the lines because it's forbidden. But you can stand there and look at them on the road, and it's easy to see the things. It's really amazing that they could. I guess they gridded the thing up, and went out there and measured it, and just followed a grid of some sort. But why they did it, and there are thousands of these lines. It would take a lot of time and effort, and that's the story of Peru. You know, look at all those cut stones over there, those magnificent buildings and temples and all that. And they're extremely hard to make. If ordinary people made them, you just don't know how in the world they ever got them done. And who cared for the kids, who milked the llamas, made the clothes, and raised the crops, while how many people were out there clearing these lines off and building these rocks and moving things away hundreds of thousands of pounds up hills, and then fit them together perfectly, absolutely perfectly. So the idea that this was made for the gods to see, that, you know, I mean, maybe they did. Maybe there was angels flying around up there to show them how to do it. I mean, I'm not going to say that's not so. And if you also notice in a lot of the tapestry and other things in Peru, you see some of the figures have wings and 3 fingers. Y'all ever seen that?
I have, yes.
Yeah, well, that's like Birdman or Mothman, or what the heck is that? You know, they know that everybody has 5 fingers or 6. Why would they depict them with 3? But I've got a sculpture that I found a photograph of it's an ancient depiction of something. This thing looks like looks kind of like Mothman. He's got a face, he's got a top knot, and wings, and you know, makes you wonder if that wasn't their version of Mothman. So the idea that this is some sort of phenomena that 2 kids made up out parking out in the dark, you know, I don't think that's it at all. But that's what they like you to think sometimes. It's just a hoax. People making stuff up. Well, you know, after 6 sightings here in Crosbyton, 7 sightings, I know all these people. They don't make stuff up. There's no reason for them. They never thought of that before. So you're faced with the reality of what in the world are these things, you know, and are they real? Do they some sort of supernatural being that can fly in the air? You know, is that who they made those lines for over there? Did you guys look at those lines? You look at the pictures of them, what they've so far determined?
I haven't seen all of them.
No, I got to ask you a question, Joe. Do you want to stay to another half an hour before when we sign off? You know, if so, you're welcome to. If not, I got to cut you off in about 5 minutes.
Okay. Well, do you have enough for the rest of the show?
Oh yeah, we've got another 35 minutes left, and we got to go on break again here in about 4 minutes. Now, before I do want to talk about Mothman and that type of humanoid creatures more after we come back from break. But where can they find your book? Let's get that. Let's get some promotion to you.
You can find it at www.mountblanco.com. That's all lowercase MTBLANCO. And you can find my book, Giants Against Evolution, on there. A lot of these giant animals are in there and giant people. But there's also, at the time that I published it in 2012, people wouldn't talk about giants. They sure wouldn't talk about Bigfoot. They wouldn't talk about transhumanism or fallen angels or winged beings and all that sort of stuff. But I touched on all that in the book just because I thought, look, there's a connection here. So www.mountblanco.com and Giants Against Evolution. And my other book, Fossil Facts and Fantasies, and there's other books in there. I've just completed a little booklet for kids, actually adults too, called So You Want to Be an Archaeologist. And that's we're about ready to go to print on that. And I've also just written a book about the gap theory, you know, that there was millions of years went by from the first creation to Adam. There was a whole world of dinosaurs and cavemen in there. I've addressed that from a paleontologist point of view. So those aren't online yet, but some cool stuff coming up.
Cool. Yeah, another thing too, where can they find your museum at?
That's in Crosbyton, Texas at 124 West Main, which is Highway 82, 114. And we're right on the edge of the canyons out here, east of Lubbock a ways. Highway 82 is the main thoroughfare between Clovis, New Mexico, and Dallas, Texas, one of the main thoroughfares. And we're on the north side of the square. Can't miss us. We take up most of the block. And we're right now, we've just finished a huge mastodon skull, a big mastodon skull from Indiana, Plymouth, Indiana. We're now working on another one, will be pretty quickly, a big a four-tusk mastodon skull from Florida. The stuff in Florida is really hard. It's like hard ceramic. In fact, you can drive nails with it. So we're going to go here in another month and pick that up. It's out in Arizona. Take it all apart, see what we got, put it back together, and have another. That'll be my 14th elephant skull I've put together. So that's going to be something cool to look at. Plus all the other stuff we got in the museum. We got a lot of. We're eclectic, you know. We don't just have dinosaurs or mammoths. We got all kinds of stuff. A Braintown buffalo skull. If you ever seen that, and that's Indian. That's how Indians tan the buffalo hide with the buffalo's brains. And we got one of the skulls they use that for. So, and we're going to have a lot of other stuff, a lot of cool stuff. A bunch of old posters from the 70s for big boy, lazy boy furniture we found.
Oh, wow. I remember those.
Cool in the restaurant. Yeah. You know, they threw them away, but they saved them. But all that stuff got thrown away. We're going to sell them to decorators, furniture, you know, stores that want to have something really groovy to put up in a restaurant somewhere. We're going to make those available, and there's no other source for them.
Oh, wow. So sometimes you stumble on stuff that is really cool and awesome, you know, and that's cool. So you know what? It sounds like if somebody is in your area or going to Dallas or whatever, they should make a trip over to your museum and check it out. How, out of curiosity, how long does it take to restore one of these creatures?
Well, a mastodon skull, when it's all busted up, our mammoth skull, they can take anywhere from 3 months to a year. The big one we did over here, it was very complicated. Nobody in their right mind would have tackled it, but we did. And but they send all the problem stuff to me because they know I can fix it. I'll just figure out some way to make it, restore it. So the worst junk in the world they give me, and I put it back together, and now it looks great. It's like a 53 Corvette. Doesn't matter what's happened to it, man. It's worth restoring.
Oh, yeah.
Which, by the way, I just inherited a big collection of records, vinyl, from the 1950s. I don't even know what's on there yet, but I'm going to put those up for sale, too. I'm raising money for a trip to Israel, so I'm going to sell the Lazy Boy posters and those records and try to get some cashola in here.
Oh, that would be a big help. Okay, we're going to go on break. We'll be back in 3 minutes with Joe Taylor. And James, don't be so quiet when we come back from the break.
Okay.
So everybody, just, you know, get a nice cup of something and sit back and chill. We'll be back.
Selfish and cruel since his youthful days in school. His siblings he never did treat well. His self-centered bent was his dark side lament, with a focus on hypnotizing spells. He memorized laws to help sharpen his claws for a future for which he was bent. The time would surely come when for office he would run and claim he was just heaven sent.
Another politician has just taken center stage. He tells all the people that he loves them so. He comes on like a sage, says with him they should engage. A false prophet selling endless empty prose.
Stepped over dead bodies on his climb to the top. The highest post was his aspiration. but he forgot to read.